No one even knew they were looking for VineSky until they were already standing under it. A town tucked 150 feet up, wrapped in the arms of ancient evergreens. Trees older than history, thick enough to host a landing strip. And by the looks of it, someone probably had. Traded a glider for a backpack full of mushrooms and a riddle answered in 3 parts. From the base of the trail, the place looked like a giant beehive mid-sneeze. Tangled roots, twisted bridges, and the constant buzz of delivery drones darting in and out of hatches that didn't exist, until they did. Mist hung in the air like gauze, catching light that already fell hours ago. The forest ran on its own clock, slower, sleepier, like everything was a little drunk and trying not to spill. And above all that, ropes, pulleys, counterweights, everything suspended. Shops hung down each morning like ripe fruit. Blink once, and the whole market drifted 6 feet left. Blink again, it vanished, reeled back into the canopy by stone-carved anchors shaped like birds, foxes, and frogs. All hand-painted, all growing moss where moss had no business being. Some claimed it was ceremonial. Others said it was for weather, or safety, or out of respect for the trees. But one old woman had her own answer. It's just harder to get bored of a shop when it moves every hour. She'd laughed like a kettle about to click off, then added, Got 30,000 anchor slots up here. I'd like to live long enough to hit every one. Narrator recap. The World, Episode 1. In this world, no one inherits anything. No last names, no land, no legacy. You hatch, and that's your beginning. No family name trailing behind, no safety net waiting underneath. Just you, your record, your choices, carved fresh from the moment you step out. Robin had just hatched. Finn had been out for 2 years. Together, they worked the steward circuit, scanning land, logging it, proving it might be useful again. Their last job took them through scorched ground and rust-stitched ruins, ending in a grove so perfect it felt fake. 12 strangers were already living there, quiet, off-grid, like ghosts who'd found peace. Finn and Robin could have stayed. They didn't. Not because the place was wrong, but because the work wasn't done. Now they were back on the trail, their scanners full. The grove flagged for development, and rumors circling of a place even stranger. VineSky. Hard to argue with a name like that. Harder to find anything when no one tells you the rules. Present day, arrival missteps. The first mistake was small. Robin offered actual credits for a place to sleep. Just a clean, forward trade. The innkeeper blinked like she'd spat on the floor, then gestured vaguely toward a compost chute and muttered, Try the West Loops if you want to buy comfort. The West Loops weren't inns. They were rope bridges and suspended gardens. No beds, no doors. Just slow walkers with perfect posture and no time for strangers. Next stop, a food stall. Finn offered dried fruit, salt sticks, and even a solar spoon. He made it clear, no trade, just a gift. The woman behind the stand reached into a box and slapped a single wet leaf into his palm. Said nothing else. They left hungry. That was the pattern all day. Every offer was too forward, too literal, too much. They were overpaying and under-understanding. Walkways, and then they saw it. The same scuffed delivery orb buzzed past for the 3rd time. Same dented rotor, same crack along the side. It looped once, hovered in place like it forgot something, then vanished through a coin-sized flap on the side of a pet shop neither of them had noticed before. Finn opened his mouth to say something to Robin, and a guy trudged past pushing a dolly stacked high with tins of drone wax. He looked exhausted. They should have known then. The walkways didn't just sit there either. Every step charged something. Maybe the community stove, maybe the fans up in the sleeping branches, maybe just the grid itself, humming quietly beneath it all. One guy zipped by overhead, hanging from a ceiling cable like a grocery bag on a zip line. But flying wasn't easy here, not with drone traffic this thick. Try gliding too far and you'd get bounced, redirected, or slapped midair by something hauling cake mix, flour, or worse. Live bees. Happens more often than you'd think. One drone dropped too low. Its cargo net sagged, one thin, long package constantly catching on things. Robin caught the net before it clipped the railing. Finn steadied the drone's base. With a little shove and a tilt, they helped it regain lift, buzzing off in a shaky line like it wasn't built for thanks. They didn't realize it yet, but that same awkward package would keep circling back. Always getting stuck. Always reloaded. Like the town itself was trying to decide where it belonged. But the drones? The drones were what finally got Finn laughing. Some towns had pigeons, some had couriers. VineSky had soggy little delivery orbs that shot out of mossy tubes and slapped you in the face with cold rain, like they were saying, "Hey, you're not from here." They weren't fresh either. These things had mileage, covered in stickers, etched initials, carved hearts. Some were mossy enough to pass for swamp fruit, others patched with string, tape, and pure stubbornness. But they flew, always the same routes, always in motion. Some didn't even open, just passed from hand to hand like ritual, like part of a story no one wanted to finish. One little drone buzzed past 4 times in a single day. Same mossy shell, same dented rotor, same scuffed paint. On the fourth pass, it dipped into a pet shop slot like it was coming home. 10 minutes later, the clerk popped it open. Inside, a single expired cricket biscuit for a reptile named Skimmer. That's the economy here. Eventually, someone gestured toward a clipboard nailed into the side of a stair tree. No conversation, no explanation, just a glance. 1 hour. Next Friday. You're after Benji. Not today. Not tomorrow. Next Friday. Finn squinted at it and muttered, "Maybe it's one of those economies where everything is for trade." They didn't plan on staying that long. Someone once offered credits for a hammock. No argument, no rejection, just silence. He got ghosted so fast, his boot print left a dent in the sap. No one said anything. They just stopped seeing him. That's the thing about VineSky. Every step, every meal, every borrowed tool, it's a trust fall. You drop with them, or you don't belong. Still not clear if Finn and Robin belonged. But someone caught another drone struggling to fit a long box into a too narrow tube. It stalled. A small line formed. Then the drone gave up and puffed off a different way. That's VineSky too. VineSky, the town that walks its own way. Then there were the bridges. You don't walk across them, you march. Left foot, blue light. Right foot, orange. Miss a beat, a warning light flares beside you. Too many flashes, or worse, if the town's low on labor, and the bridge reacts. The floor slides open just enough to drop you into a soft, padded chute. No injuries, just a detour. Suddenly, you're in a maze of pressure plates and half-finished tasks. Think escape room meets workplace orientation, recalibrating a sync drone, refilling tissue stock, backlogging 15 logs before the next door unlocks. The bridges don't care if you're new, tired, important, or starving. You march to the rhythm, or you don't move. Sure, the harmonics hum pleasantly beneath your steps, but not too pleasantly. It's not music. It's a metronome. By the time Finn and Robin arrived, the town was already halfway through a week of herbal tea, misdirection, and daylight-powered systems that didn't explain themselves. They showed up fresh-faced and confident, like they thought common sense was a universal language. It wasn't. They stepped off the hanging tram like they were ready to conquer a mountain. Robin tightening her boots like she was prepping for a trailhead. Finn already scrolling his wrist slate, pulling up trade logs and survey coordinates like the forest had been waiting for his input. It hadn't.
Okay, so apparently everyone on YouTube is legally required to tell you to like and subscribe. So I guess this is me being cool now, smash to the bell, punch the algorithm, gently whisper to the subscribe button, whatever it is the cool channels say. I don't know. I just want people to actually see this stuff.
Section 4, the first lesson, March or fall. Spoiler, it wasn't. Their plan had been simple. Eat, sleep, resupply. Find some maps. Pick a job heading toward New Apple City. But logic? Logic's a little rude in VineSky. They tried paying a shopkeeper for a room and got a smile. Not a friendly one. Not mean either. Just polite, pitying. The kind of smile that said, "Oh, honey?" No. Followed by a slow turn away, as if the conversation had never even happened. Next stop, a food stall. This time, the vendor pretended to be deaf. When that didn't work, he pretended to be asleep. Finn leaned in. "Okay, maybe we're not speaking the right language." Robin raised an eyebrow. "Not sure. Maybe they just don't like outsiders?" They did. Deeply. And asking questions only made it worse. In VineSky, asking is like skipping the dance and shouting the answer. Locals don't speak in direct lines, not out of secrecy, but because clarity feels like cheating. You're supposed to notice. You're supposed to listen. Or leave. If you don't, they'll just let you talk yourself into a corner and smile while you do it. Drone gag. One drone tried weaving through traffic with a heavy net and got bounced hard off another drone mid-turn. Packages spun. The long one swayed like a baton with a grudge. The traffic didn't pause. Then they hit the bridge. It hummed with a tone just shy of musical, like a wind chime someone tapped on purpose, or a hollow metal pipe with the wind running through just right. It wasn't just a crossing. It was a test, a loose stretch of vines, roots, and tubing strung together with motion sensors and softly glowing lights. Suspended way too high for comfort. To pass, you had to march in rhythm, step for step, beat for beat. Out of sync? The bridge adjusted. Floor panels dropped. Not all the way. Just enough to remove the option of going forward. Suddenly, they were standing on backlit instructions and blinking arrows. An interface built into the floor explained what came next. Welcome to task flow clearance. Finn and Robin had officially failed the rhythm test. They landed gently on pillowed panels below. Above them, glowing timers appeared with estimated completion times and a menu of necessary tasks to earn exit access. Finn squinted at the list. Okay, what sounds better? 45 minutes of proofreading and approving Corridor 3 drone comment cards, or 15 minutes of drone entrance approvals while pedaling an electric exercise bike? 40 minutes later, they successfully crossed the bridge, on beat this time. The lesson stuck. In VineSky, every movement counts. Nothing's wasted, not even a footstep. The whole place is a battery. And you're part of the charge. As they rejoined a group and fell into step, Robin muttered under her breath. So we're marching, with strangers, on a bridge that punishes individuals. Finn didn't reply. He was busy accomplishing necessary tasks. The real trade, by sundown, they were tired, hungry, and still politely ignored. So they tried again, this time humbler, quieter, asking gently if there was anywhere they could stay. That's when she appeared, sharp-tongued, crooked-backed. Walking stick made of salvaged scaffolding, eyes like lightning behind foggy lenses. She squinted straight through Finn and asked one question. How much would you pay for it? Finn hesitated. Robin jumped in. 2 lodging credits? Or honestly, I'd be fine with a cot for the night. Meanwhile, a delivery drone touched down nearby. Someone calmly unloaded every box from the sagging net, sorted them, reshuffled the weights, that same thin, troublesome package. It finally slipped into a proper fit, repacked, rerouted, and off again. Just another piece of the system falling back into place. The old woman didn't blink, but her voice could have split bark. Did I ask you what a loving credit is? Or did I ask what it's worth to you? Eventually, by instinct or accident, Robin got it right. She spotted another elder hoisting her herb stand up into the canopy. Didn't ask, didn't explain, just stepped forward, took the pulley, and started lifting. No words, no transaction. A few minutes later, a folded leaf envelope appeared beside her rolled mat, sealed with a fiber loop key. No one pointed, no one nodded, but that's how she earned a place to sleep. Not because she asked, because she acted, and she didn't even realize she'd done it. Finn, not so lucky. He tried to offer one of their surveyor printouts, a detailed log of 6 months' travel. Scans, altitude, wild growth, viable zones. Elsewhere, that kind of info would earn priority access. Here, the square went silent. One child gasped. A man bowed his head and made the sign of the sprig. Robin turned slowly. Did you just spend our social capital? Finn looked around. I didn't know we had any. See, here? Trades aren't currency. They're interpretation. Gestures. A slow, quiet read on who someone is. If someone helps lift a railing, you don't hand them coins. You might leave behind better gloves, or return a week later when they least expect it, carrying what they didn't yet know they'd need. That's the rhythm. That's the culture. The narrator's first real trade? One hot meal. Spicy roots, pickled eggs, moss bread that hit harder than expected. They offered to sweep the cafe porch. The owner didn't respond, didn't object, just blinked and pointed once at a worn plank nailed beside the entrance, then down, toward a dangling rope ladder made of frayed twine and metal hooks. You want to sleep and have nothing to offer? Go carry the potatoes. It sounded like honest work. Maybe it was, but it wasn't the rhythm. Not yet.
Hey, sorry to interrupt your regularly scheduled brain fire, but I gotta be that person for a second. I know, gross. But the thing is, I don't really have that many subscribers. So if you're hearing this, you're already in the elite inner circle. Might as well hit that button and make it official. Maybe even the bell too, if you're feeling emotionally available today.
At the base of the ladder, things didn't get clearer. They got messier. Turns out, nobody carries potatoes here. They use pulley carts, vine lifts, suspended glide buckets. Carrying them by hand? That's like delivering a pizza on foot across a freeway. The potato guy laughed when Finn and Robin showed up. Not mean, just amused. You're the new ones. Of course you are. He offered them a shortcut, a simple favor to make things right. Retrieve some medical supplies. In return, they'd get a map, routes out of town, safer places, clearer rules. They agreed before asking questions. Finn, eyeing the overloaded cart of bottles and crates. It's probably just bandages, or aloe, or something. Yeah, and if it's not? Finn grinned. Then we finally get an interesting story. She didn't grin back. Mistake. The medical supplies turned out to be alcohol. High proof, unlabeled. The kind of stuff that makes fire nervous. Risky cargo in a tree town where half the buildings are made of rope, wood, and wishful thinking. They got caught at the first checkpoint. Robin, trying honesty. Old guy's paying us. Food, maps, supplies. He said this was medicine. The gate attendant tilted her head. That's a lot of floss for dental work. They were escorted back. The man's shop had shifted, slightly relocated like everything else in VineSky. But the guards knew where to find him. He greeted them mid-pour, holding a spray bottle and wearing shimmering gloves. I'm not a drunk. I'm not a dealer. But this place, it's filthy. The moisture, the heat, the germs. He held up the bottle like a shield. This sterilizes my tools, my gloves, my breath. He sniffed the air. Yes, it's highly flammable, but so is mold, mildew. Ooh. He looked at them the way someone looks at a child holding sparklers in a library. I knew you'd say yes. Not because you're bad people, because you didn't know better yet. Then he explained VineSky. It wasn't a setup. It was a litmus test, a culture check. And yeah, they flunked it. VineSky doesn't run on credits, not because it can't, but because it doesn't need to. There's a public community-linked calendar. Everyone sees it. Everyone contributes. Try to use credits openly here? They look at you like you just farted on an enclosed lift. No one's swiping wristbands for soup. No one's trading eggs for egg coins. That said, credits do exist, quietly, used to balance uneven exchanges or patch gaps across distances. But never food for food or rest for rest. The real trick? It's better to overoffer and be corrected than to offer exactly what's needed and look transactional. Random villager. I'll give you 2 days later for a meal and a bed tonight. In manager, whoa, you want gossip to spread? Half a day's more than enough, because offering the perfect price, that feels like trying to cut the community out. Like sealing a deal the town hasn't agreed to yet. So Finn and Robin, they each did 3 rounds in the maze again, separately. Sorting, filing, carrying, tasks just boring enough to make you wonder if they were being hazed. And then, at a waterfall basin tucked below the public bridge garden, they finally crossed paths again. No one said anything. But suddenly, they had extra food, bathhouse time slots, a community note of support, and word spreading that they were heading out on good terms toward New Apple City. They sat in silence afterward, Robin biting her lip, Finn staring at the smuggler's gloves. Finally, she said, "So what do we do now?" She didn't wait for an answer. I swear, the next time you say yes to something without asking questions, Finn nodded. We get arrested again, duly noted. He didn't answer her out loud, but in VineSky, that was an answer. At the edge of the square, the familiar drone floated past, its net finally empty. A nearby shopkeeper pulled the last package free, the long one that had been circling for days. They opened it. Oh, perfect. I needed this. They flicked on the flashlight and began quietly checking under their shelves. The drone, job done, zipped off, lighter than ever. Theme wrap-up, final narration. Effort isn't enough, and intentions, even less. Here, value is relational. Effort isn't transactional. It's participatory. You don't trade like a visitor. You move like someone who already belongs. Not, what can I get for this? But, where does this belong? Who does this lift up? Because in VineSky, energy flows in loops. The city breathes through rhythm and motion. And currency? Currency is whatever moves something forward, even if it's just potatoes.